Well, aside from the magnificence of this Olympic Stadium here in Kiev, the venue for the final on the 1st of July, I feel as if I'm in Stockholm. Such is the lack of balance in terms of the fans of the two countries concerned. The Swedish supporters, knowing that Sweden play all three of their games here in the Ukrainian capital, came here in their multitudes, and they outnumber England's fans by 6-1 tonight. It's not helped pictorially by the fact that there are lots of Ukraine supporters here as well in their national uniform. It's just a blaze of yellow in most areas of the stadium, and I'm slightly concerned that there doesn't seem to be segregation away to the right where the bulk of the England supporters are. A lot of Swedes in there as well. Well, the two captains have exchanged handshakes, tossed the coin, and these are the two lineups. First of all, England. The goalkeeper is Hart. The defence, Johnson, Terry, Lescott and Cole. In midfield, Milner, Parker, Gerrard and Young, and then Welbeck and Carroll. Sweden's goalkeeper is Isaacson. The defence from right to left, Grandqvist, Mellberg, Jonas Olsson and Martin Olsson. Then Svensson and Kallström holding. Then Larsson, Ibrahimovic the captain, and Elm. Finally, Elmander. We think they're going to play, Chris, 4-2-3-1. Certainly Ibrahimovic in a slightly withdrawn role.
I'm sure they've said to Danny Welbeck at times, can you fill in and help pick up the deepest midfield player? But these two basically are playing a very, very similar formation. They'll more or less 4-4-2s, both of them. Ibrahimovic will float around, try and get in behind Gerrard and Parker in that gap, in that little gap between the back four in the midfield where he's very dangerous.
Well, for reasons that are only best known to the Football Association and the kit manufacturers, England are wearing blue tonight, needlessly. Why not all white against Sweden's yellow shirts, blue shorts and yellow socks? Sweden will kick off playing from left to right, so the bulk of their support is behind their goal in this opening half. And here's this ridiculous countdown once more. 3, 2, 1. Blow your whistle, ref. The referee is Damir Skamina from Slovenia, and I saw him in the opening game I did here in Euro 2012 when he took charge of Denmark's defeat of Holland. Free kick to England in the opening minute of the game, and the ball was stabbed to Johnson, and then Gerrard. On the far side it's Milner, and now played back to the scorer of the goal against France, Julian Lescott. On to Ashley Cole. We hope that Ashley Cole gets to win his 100th cap during Euro 2012, but England will have to reach the final for that to happen. It's played down the England left, and then Carroll, sort of crouch-like, adjudged to have fouled Grandqvist.
Well, he's come across him. There's no need, Andy Carroll. But I just hope England don't start playing every ball long up to Andy Carroll.
It wouldn't be his fault. It'd be a choice of the coach. England have won the ball back though on the far side of the field. Johnson to Gerrard. Gerrard's quick pass was behind Welbeck and outside on the far side of the field for a throw in to Sweden, who've never lost in a competitive fixture to England. Throw in taken. It goes to Kallström. We'll be watching out for Elm tonight, who is very tricky down that left wing for Sweden. He's played in a central role in the opening game against Ukraine, but I think restored to the position he now favours. Sweden had the ball with Olof Mellberg. Mellberg ahead of the centre circle, just chips it in the direction of Ibrahimovic. It was intercepted well by Glenn Johnson. The drill clearance goes out of play, throw into Sweden. The emphasis for both teams must be to try to win the game.
Well, yeah, as I say, I don't think these teams ever set up to draw. I think they're very cautious about it, and they've got a lot of respect again. But
Svensson hits the ball upfield and must have taken the deflection, and out comes Joe Hart, anxious to avoid conceding a corner, heads the ball out of play for a throw-in. Wonderful noise presented by the Swedish fans. I took a stroll down into the centre of the city yesterday, and I didn't see any England supporters at all. They were all Swedes. Throw-in to be taken by Grandqvist of Genoa. level with the edge of the England penalty area. Just throws it short, gets it back from Larsson. Grandquist, Larsson in attendance. Now it's Larsson again to Grandquist, but that wasn't a good pass, and it's straight out of play for a throw-in to England.
Well, it's a very edgy start, I've got to say. I know it's early in the game. Sweden have been in England half now for the last couple of minutes, but I think it's so far they've matched up, they're cancelling each other out.
Throw-in goes to Carroll. Carroll then flicks it in the direction of Welbeck, headed away by Sweden, out of play. England have gained about 15 yards for this throw-in. Cole throws it back though to Lescott. Lescott into Gerrard, and Gerrard having to turn to face his own goalkeeper, plays it back to Joe Hart, and Hart's clearance high towards Carroll. Grandquist was climbing all over Andy Carroll there, and then there was a barge by Mellberg on the Liverpool striker, and it's a free kick to England. Well, they'll know about the aerial threat that Carroll poses, but that's a pretty physical back four for Sweden. Free kick is taken. Good control by Welbeck, left edge of the penalty area. Back it goes to Ashley Cole. Cole to Welbeck once more. Welbeck checks onto his right foot, finds Parker. Parker's pass was overhit, and I'm afraid that's behind for a goal kick.
I think you've just got to relax. It's early in the game. You know, keep the possession for a little bit, get a few passes, get a little bit of confidence. Don't rush it.
The alleged temperature at the start of this game was 19 degrees centigrade. But Chris and myself, having been in Kharkiv and Donetsk, it's freezing, isn't it, Chris? Absolutely. Well, it feels freezing in relation to what we experienced with the 30-degree temperatures further east of Kiev. And by the way, that storm that disrupted held up play in Donetsk, after which France beat Ukraine 2-0. It's heading this way. The forecast is that it will not actually disrupt the game, but we might be in for some thunder and lightning later this evening, or in the early hours of tomorrow morning as it will be. Mellberg heads it down. It's played back by Karlstrom, and here's Jonas Olsson to Mellberg again, and Mellberg drives it towards Elmander, but beyond Elmander through to Joe Hart. It is a pretty tepid opening to the game.
I think both teams are afraid to make mistakes. They're very cautious on the pass. Not a lot of confidence out there at the minute. England's just keeping possession now. But look, it's very sloppy. Teams look very nervous, very edgy.
Oh, that was an underhit pass by Lescott. It put Ashley Cole in trouble, and Cole got a bit of a knock there. Let's hope it's not serious. Ashley Cole, again, outstanding against France. He always is in his international appearances for England. Parker for England on the halfway line towards the left side. Plays it back to John Terry. Gerrard, the captain, ahead of him. Now it's with Gerrard. Johnson running down the right flank. Milner wants it played to his feet. Gerrard did that. Finds Milner. Milner to Welbeck. Back to Milner. Cole's in a good position down the left side. Up to a position a yard outside the penalty area. Milner available again. And it goes to Welbeck. Welbeck to Parker. Gerrard available. No one wanted to have a strike at goal, or at least didn't think the opportunity was right to have a strike at goal, and England play the ball back to the halfway line, and of course the Swedish fans love jeering that. Parker fouled, according to the assist on the near side of the field. Thought that was a pretty soft free kick against Larsson.
Well, it was a linesman who flagged. I don't think the referee was going to give it, but that was better by England.
6 minutes gone. England 0, Sweden 0. Earlier in Donetsk, Ukraine 0, France 2. Parker to take the free kick. Carroll's got two players marking him. Half a dozen yards outside the penalty area. Both Terry and Lescott have stayed back. Here's Parker, right-footed from the left side. Drilled in towards Andy Carroll. Carroll put the defender under pressure, but it was well defended by Jonas Olsson, and it's out to play for a throw into England on the far side of the field. England right. Taken by Johnson to Milner. Johnson again to Gerrard. On to Milner. Just kept in play by James Milner. Ball squirts in field. Good chested pass by Parker. Back by Welbeck. Parker shot. Good save by the goalkeeper Isaacson.
That was a terrific shot by Scotty Parker, wasn't it? A good save. Isaacson, really tall keeper. Gets across his goal very, very well.
Ball spending a lot of time in the air. Sweden like to play it that way as much as England. Or this England. Terry to Lescott, and away to the right to the entirely red-clad Joe Hart. Now, Johnson to Milner, who's inches in from the right touchline. It'll be good to see both Milner and Young stay wide. Milner, back to Johnson. Now Gerrard to Parker. Gerrard was fouled off the ball, I think, but the ball's with Milner on the far side of the field. Andy Carroll waits in the penalty area. Now it's played in, and Welbeck sort of shaped as if to head the ball. It was headed away instead by Mellberg.
This is a good spell by England. Good possession. Just got that little bit of quality in the box.
Another throw in for England to take down that right flank. This one's much closer to the corner flag, only 7-8 paces away. Johnson throws to Milner. Milner back to Johnson again. Johnson tries to take on the defender. Ball breaks kindly for England to Milner. Then Milner tries to dribble his way through. It doesn't work out, and it's taken away by Sweden, but given away by Ibrahimovic, the captain. Oh, Ibrahimovic giving the ball back. Not good. Here's Elm over the halfway line. Ibrahimovic once more. Good run by Larsson towards the right side. It's played deep, looking for Larsson, and the ever-dependable Ashley Cole intercepts with his head, heading the ball back to Joe Hart.
Excellent defending by Ashley Cole. As you say, a top-class fullback.
We always rely on him. It's as simple as that. Can't think there's any more dependable player in the England team over the last decade. Gerrard, and inside the Swedish half, playing a 1-2 with Welbeck. Didn't come off finally. I think Gerrard's pass was astray, and Sweden have the ball again. Back to Jonas Olsson. Jonas Olsson leaves it now for Svensson to Mellberg, and onto the near side to Grandqvist, who played in the centre of defence against Ukraine, but he's preferred it right back tonight. That surely should give encouragement to Ashley Young, though Ashley Young's hardly seen the ball at the moment. Nearly 10 minutes played here. You're listening to 5 Live on the BBC. England 0, Sweden 0. Svensson down the right. On to Elm. Didn't get a push over, though he went down as if he was pushed. The referee was up with play and decided no free kick necessary, and it's cleared by England. Good work by Welbeck. On to Carroll, who's fouled by Mellberg. Free kick England. His very presence does cause trouble, doesn't it?
Oh, most definitely. You can see they're worried about him every set piece, as you say. Sometimes they're putting 2 on him. Sometimes he's got to know when to win it and when not, because as I said earlier, referees easy blow up on the tall guys, and he's got to get himself in better positions.
Free kick taken quite quickly, and then it's belted forward by Johnson. Carroll jumps, heads it on, but he must have been pushing, and it's a free kick to Sweden. That just emphasised precisely what you said.
Well, as I say, it's different. In England you get away with it, Alan, 90% of it, but not foreign referees. No, they don't buy it.
It wasn't much more than a hand on Mellberg, but
it's just his size. It looks like a free kick because he comes towering over people, and the referee thinks free kick.
So just the one opportunity so far, the snapshot by Scott Parker that was well saved by Isaacson. England 0, Sweden 0 here in the capital of Ukraine, Kiev, where it is cooler, let's say, than in the rest of the country. Now Svensson over the halfway line, forward to Elmander, good touch back, and a shot driven in by Larsson straight at Joe Hart, and a good throw out by Joe Hart to Milner on the far side of the field. Lots of room for Milner to run into. Carroll's available nearby, stabbed down the right side towards Carroll. Jonas Olsson gets across. Carroll held the ball up well though. Back to Milner. Milner turning around the right side, and then he's crossing the ball to where ideally Carroll would be, but Carroll, having helped him out down the right flank, wasn't in the penalty area, and it's cleared by Sweden.
Well, that's the one thing you're going to say, innit? If you're going to go out the box, Andy Carroll, and when we cross it, who's going to head it? So he's got to know when to pick his runs. Listen, he's still young, still learning.
11 and a half minutes gone, 0-0 here in Kiev between England and Sweden. Milner to Johnson, and now back to Terry. And England kept pretty much to their expected shape. That's a good ball though by Parker down to the left side. Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole's touch wasn't great, and is cleared by Sweden. Almander back to Karlström, quickly flicked on in the direction of Ibrahimovic, but he didn't control it, and now it's with Lescott for England to John Terry. A draw would make me very worried about the final game in Donetsk. Very, very worried. Just to emphasise the position in the table at the moment, France have 4 points, Ukraine have 3 points, England 1, Sweden, none. Now, forward it goes to Andy Carroll. Carroll slipped, and the ball is stabbed back by Larson to his goalkeeper Isaacson, and Isaacson clears it up towards the halfway line. Headed back, but that I think will be a free kick against Steven Gerrard. So whether he wanted to or not, he barged into Elm, and it's a free kick to Sweden.
I think England's in control of the game so far. It's a bit scrappy. A lot of balls going astray again. You'd say so far England definitely look in control.
By and large, it's been an excellent European Championship. We've seen some electrifying football, even from teams like the Dutch, who haven't got a point yet. But France-England wasn't great, and neither is this so far. 13 minutes gone, 0-0 in Kiev. Ibrahimovic holds off two England challenges, the first from Cole, the second from Parker, gets the ball back from Granqvist, and now in it goes to Karlström, onto the far side of the field, and Martin Olsson of Blackburn. How much longer he'll be at Blackburn, who knows. Martin Olsson running down the left side, and finally attempts the cross. It's blocked by Milner, and it's out of play for a Sweden throwing, very close to the corner flag. Though he's retreating. Oh no, he's going to leave it for Elm to take. Elm 10 yards from the corner flag now, and Sweden gradually have moved players forward into the England penalty area. Only three of them notably. Mellberg's hanging back for the moment. Here comes Elm, launching the ball into the England box. John Terry commanding, heads it away, and there's a shot, attempted volley shot by Karlström, cleared by England, and up it goes over the halfway line towards Welbeck, headed safely by Granqvist into Sweden's possession again. There's not a lot in it, is there? We're not nodding off, don't worry, it's not that bad, but it's unlike most of the games, let's say, that have been played in Ukraine and Poland so far. Here's Lescott for England in their second strip, the navy strip with the light blue flashes. Parker takes it up, short of the centre circle, pretty much centre of the England half. On it goes to Andy Carroll. Andy Carroll very deep, but he held off Jonas Olsson and plays the ball to the right side to Milner. Only Welbeck's in there. Young is deeper. It's into Welbeck. Glancing header from the United striker. Behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's a good play by Andy Carroll and halfway line. He links it up well. Lovely ball out to Milner. It's a decent delivery. Maybe Welbeck could have done a little bit better for me. He had a yard of space. He could direct on the target. He wasn't under that much pressure.
Yeah. I was going to say, isn't the ideal scenario that it was Welbeck winning the ball deeper, playing it wide to Milner, and Carroll going to meet the header? Strange. Isaacson with the goal kick for Sweden. Played to the right side. Great control by Elmander. Elmander back to Granqvist. Into Karlström. Oh, goodness gracious, that pass was aimed at Elmander, but it's cut out by England just as well. Elmander would have been through, and it's out of play on the near side for a throw-in to Sweden. How much yellow is there in this stadium? How many Swedish flags are in this stadium? We are accustomed to seeing England fans dominate in terms of the flags of St George, but look at all the Swedish flags to the left. Yellow and blue, as is the playing kit. Jonas Olsson hits it forward. Elmander tried to play it on to Ibrahimovic. It was knocked back by Terry to Lescott, then to Hart. Hart's clearance runs to Gerrard, and now Parker. Young has come inside. I want to see Ashley Young wide. It's Ashley Cole who's wide at the moment. Now Young takes up a forward wide position, and Parker finds him down the near side, the left, but he turns into Larson, loses the ball, and it's clear to Elmander. Wide to Larson, in towards Ibrahimovic. It was a great first time pass, wonderful interception by Glenn Johnson. It's as well, he was alert.
That was a great ball by Larson, great vision. Ibrahimovic just got on the other side. Glenn Johnson did well just to spot the danger.
First time pass from Larson, terrific. Throw in on the far side. Olsson to take it, Martin Olsson that is. In it goes, Elm's pass forward, not a good one. And here's Glenn Johnson. Good pass to Ashley Young onto Gerrard. Ashley Young once more. Gerrard is available, but behind Young. Gerrard sticking to this disciplined role that is demanded by Hodgson. He hits a crossfield ball. I think Milner misjudged the bounce, and it's out of play for a throw into Sweden. We played 17 minutes here at 5 Live. England 0, Sweden 0.
I've got to say it's very scrappy. One shot, Scott Parker. Welbeck could have done better. And Sweden's had one shot as well, so they've just basically cancelled each other out, which I thought it would be. It's always tight when they play each other, these two.
Here's Karlström, one of the two, quote, holding midfield players for Sweden. The other one is this man, Svensson. Svensson's terrible ball forward, never likely to find a yellow shirt. And it's taken up now by Milner. Milner to Welbeck, few yards ahead of the centre circle, to Milner, and on to Johnson, a yard in from the right touchline. Johnson moving infield, runs into trouble, ball breaks kindly. Ibrahimovic holds off Parker very easily. Ibrahimovic, strong character, full of running, comes forward, then he checks, unhappy that only Elmander was up in support, and it's a woeful pass from the Swedish captain, easily intercepted by Ashley Young, and it's back to Joe Hart. Are you awake, Graham Taylor? You still awake, Graham?
The difference here is I really believe I feel I'm watching a club game. I don't feel I'm watching an international game. I feel it goes back a few years and I'm watching a club game, both sides playing the same formation, no movement of players. Yes, the ball's moved about, but no change of position by players of either side. So it's a different type of game to the ones we've been watching so far in this competition. I just see it plainly at the moment as an almost old-fashioned club game.
And it's making me wonder if there's a tooth fairy in Ukraine. The tooth that was extracted today in Kiev, I'll put under my pillow tonight. Far more entertaining than this game of football. England 0, Sweden 0 on 5 Live. 19 minutes gone here in Kiev. Here Elm plays it into Ibrahimovic. He's about 35 yards from goal. Stab to the left side to Martin Olsson, the fullback. Into Ibrahimovic. 10 yards outside the England penalty, onto his right foot, lashes the shot in towards the near post, saved by Joe Hart.
Right, you can't stand off this guy. I know at times he frustrates, he looks lazy and times and too slow when he has the ball. He's got wonderful technique for such a tall guy. It's a decent effort, but you're not going to beat Joe Hart from there. And Sweden have grew into this game. Last 5 minutes they've had a lot of ball.
Johnson, after a Hart throwed the ball out to him, to Lescott and into Terry. Is there any movement in the England players? Is anybody actually changing position?
It's not just that, Alan. We played slow. We don't listen. Two ways of playing. We've seen how we defend in numbers. Now we'll try to come out a little bit, but we're not playing quick enough. We're not moving the ball quick enough. It's very easy for Sweden to get in position.
Cole chipped the ball towards Andy Carroll, but it was easily knocked away by Jonas Olsson out of play for a throw into England. Midway inside the Swedish half, near side of the field in this first half, that's the England left. Cole throws to Welbeck, back to Cole. Welbeck once more, and Parker in towards Gerrard. Gerrard lays the ball forward, might get the ball back. Oh, that's touched by a Swedish midfield player, almost ran to Steven Gerrard. Welbeck does well, winning it back. Then he runs into Ibrahimovic, and Sweden have it once more. Onto the near side of the field, and Larsson started quite brightly down the right flank, looking for Ibrahimovic down the right side. Oh, John Terry's caught there, and Ibrahimovic has the ball wide of the penalty. I don't know whether John Terry was caught by the Swedish captain. As it is, Ibrahimovic's pass again was poor. Terry intercepts, and he got away with that little stumble.
I don't know what happened with John Terry. That was a straight sprint. I thought he pulled his hamstring or something at first.
So did I. Strange. And I think he's okay. Milner on the far side of the field. Remember, Terry had an injury going into this European Championship. On now to Ashley Young, who has moved to the right side. Milner, poor cross into the penalty. That is not good enough delivery from the flanks if you've got Andy Carroll in there.
Well, the good thing is about it, I know the cross wasn't the best, but at least he was in the final third where you want him. Don't say that in your box.
Johnson to take the throw in towards the edge of the Swedish penalty area. Nearly 22 minutes played in Kiev. Goes to Ashley Young. Young's cross again wasn't good enough. Low and easily blocked by the first Swedish defender and cleared up to Ibrahimovic. And then Ashley Cole. What was that all about? He slashes the ball goalwards and out of play for a throw-in. What was it?
Throw in that. But out in the corner flag.
Gone for a throw-in, that shot from Ashley Cole. That's magnificent entertainment. Let's not knock it. Didn't you realise that on 6 and 6 the other night, people were ringing me and saying that it was an incredible England performance? I was watching a different game. Midway through the first half, 0-0, Mike Ingham.
Well, Roy Hodgson's press conference yesterday, he talked about what he required this evening. He wanted England, he said, when they get forward, to be more clinical with their passing, with their crossing, and obviously with their finishing. The last couple of minutes they've been let down in that area, but now it's Gerrard, the captain, playing it down the right-hand side. England playing from right to left in this first half. Gerrard looking to return the ball to Milner. Wasn't well returned, though, by Gerrard, and Martin Olsson will tidy up. But only finds Steven Gerrard once more. England 0, Sweden 0 on 5 Live. Gerrard whips in an early ball. Over the Carroll! Great goal! Andy Carroll with a header. Soars above the Swedish defence. It was all Liverpool. Gerrard's cross. Carroll's header. 1-0 England.
Well, you've got to say, where did that come from? Gerrard again. We saw him do a set piece from a similar position against France, where he really bent it in with pace. And it was Lescott, but this time Andy Carroll, free, nobody near him, makes a good run. It's a wonderful delivery again from the captain. Great header, heads it down, skids up the surface. Keeper no chance. And hopefully that'll settle England down and they can start playing a bit more football. It's a wonderful delivery from Gerrard.
Now, I don't want to be the greatest Jonah who's ever walked on the earth, but let me tell you, in every single competitive game that England have played against Sweden, England score first. Sadly, they never win the game, but can they do it here this evening? Graham Taylor, your thoughts on the goal?
Fantastic delivery by Steven Gerrard. Great header by Carroll, and that's why he's in the side. But the delivery by Gerrard, you have to compliment it, because you know, if Carroll hadn't got on the end of it, we'd have been criticising him for that kind of delivery. It was absolutely first class. Put England 1-0 up. Let's hope it gives them the confidence now to go on and take hold of this game.
Gerrard this time over, hits the pass towards Ashley Young, but it's still in play down below us, and Granqvist clears. This back four from Sweden have all played in the Premier League, including Granqvist at Wigan, and Lescott finds Terry, and it goes back to Joe Hart. England 1, Sweden 0. They must win the game, you feel, here this evening to give themselves a chance of qualifying. Great selection so far then from Roy Hodgson, picking Andy Carroll, and he scores here his first goal in a tournament for England. Steven Gerrard, of course, made the goal for Lescott in the first match, and now he's delivered again, this time for Andy Carroll. But now England have to be careful, and this has been the problem over the years against Sweden as they run forward, and Elm has beaten the offside trap and the cross comes in. Terry, slightly off balance, manages to get it out of the penalty area. I mean, the last time they met in the World Cup in Germany, England twice went in front, still couldn't finish Sweden off, and now it's Mellberg who's won over 100 caps for Sweden. Mellberg into Elm. Sweden retain the ball, and Ibrahimovic playing very deep. Elmander made the run. Ibrahimovic plays the ball into feet, and here comes ball back to Martin Olsson. Martin Olsson's shot hits the defender. It was Kallstrom who was trying to get in there for Sweden, and it's a throw-in over on the far side.
Well, actually, Sweden's come to life now. They were quite happy, I think, to play for keep a clean sheet and play at the draw, but since that goal's gone in, they've actually come to life.
They're a very resilient team, Sweden. This one's not over yet as the cross comes in deep over the bar in the end for a goal kick, and Joe Hart, all in red, just barks out a few instructions. England lead 1-0 then, 25 minutes gone. Earlier, France having a 2-0 victory against Ukraine. We were watching the pictures and we didn't think that France looked very keen on playing that game. In fact, Laurent Blanc was shaking his head and everything else. The referee gave it the go-ahead, and I bet he's glad now that it went ahead. And they won with second half goals. And now Hart clears for England. England 1, Sweden 0. And another headed goal against Sweden. Remember, Shevchenko got 2 headers for Ukraine, and when England beat Sweden before Christmas, Gareth Barry's header beat them as well. Ibrahimovic, the most dangerous man in the Swedish team, holding off the challenges from 2 England players. Sweden now looking to Svensson, but he doesn't control it. England have to be tidy here. Parker's closed down though by Svensson. Ibrahimovic with the ball glued to his feet, it seems, finds Elmander, and now England looking to counter-attack. Young to Welbeck, in comes a sturdy challenge from Mellberg. This is a really experienced, slightly ageing Swedish team. England must move them around, you feel here. Players like this will be Mellberg's last tournament for Sweden. Kallstrom, Svensson as well, and now Steven Gerrard. Gerrard picks out Milner over on the far side. On 5 Live, England are leading 1-0 against Sweden, but they mustn't get sloppy like they were just then. But they've got the ball back again, and now Gerrard lifts it towards Ashley Cole. England could do with a second one here to give them just a little bit of breathing space. Lescott to Young, who didn't get any of the ball early on here. Glenn Johnson's made a big run down the right hand side. It goes instead to Steven Gerrard, and now Milner, and Johnson's available down the right. Andy Carroll is waiting. The ball is not... Oh yes, it is well played for Milner. Milner drags it back, but Kallström's there in the penalty area to slide it to safety. In it goes towards Elmander. It was quickly spotted by John Terry, and Sweden bill from the back.
As you say, England can't relax for Sweden. Have up the tempo, there's no doubt about that. But so far it's been very good for England.
They scored lots of goals in qualifying, did Sweden, and here comes their most dangerous player, Ibrahimovic, leading goal scorer in Italy last season. England are backing off here. Someone needs to move towards him. He finds down this near side Grönqvist. Back in field again to Ibrahimovic, who's playing in this deeper position for Sweden behind Elmander. Sweden moving it a little slowly around, though, playing into England's hands perhaps. Anders Svensson, the former Southampton player. Ball with Larsson, and the one thing England mustn't do, you feel here, is concede free kicks either, and corners, because Seb Larsson, Ibrahimovic from the free kicks, very dangerous. Sweden are back inside their own half, and Svensson will have to give this ball back once more to Isaksson, and the goal away to our left. Another player, of course, who's played in England with Manchester City. Now Martin Olsson far side. Two Olssons in the defence, not related. Jonas Olsson of West Brom, who of course is a former Roy Hodgson player when Roy was the manager of West Bromwich Albion, and now Mellberg. Sweden are passing and moving here, but there's no real forward movement.
Well, they're not going anywhere. It's nice possession, it's nice on the eye. They're not affecting the game, it's not hurting England.
Now Elm on the halfway line, playing on the Swedish left. He darts in field. Elm now onto Ibrahimovic, can't control it. And Steven Gerrard yesterday saying we cannot give Ibrahimovic an inch of space in this game. Now Carroll jumping with Mellberg. Mellberg got in there first. Grönqvist tidying up in the right back position. Grönqvist on to Mellberg, who gives it to Kallström. Inside the centre circle. Kallström. Sweden looking for some shape here. Martin Olsson available down the left hand side. 1-0 to England. Andy Carroll has scored here. Header from across from Steven Gerrard. England at the moment having to get players back inside their own half. Larsson to Svensson. England are pressing well though here, just pushing Sweden back all the time to the halfway line. That was always the way that Fabio Capello wanted them to play, in particular the pressing game. Now Martin Olsson again. England are forcing them back all the way here and making it difficult for Sweden to create anything. Jonas Olsson now forced in the end. That's great play in a way, because it was a long ball in the end from Jonas Olsson. England cut it out. Oh, Terry and Johnson almost mess it up over on the far side. In goes Elm against Terry, and the whistle's gone against Sweden. Just occasionally England get careless.
John Terry stayed down, he got up and went back down, but they let Sweden have the ball there for a long period. I know you don't say they're hurting, but they had the ball for a long time, Sweden.
Terry gets up very slowly. I think he's going to be okay, and he's just flexing his muscles down there. And we played half an hour of the game here in Kiev, as we've been saying, dominated by Swedish fans, knowing that all of their matches are here in this stadium. The other thing that makes it very Swedish is that even the seats are yellow and blue as well, because they are the Ukraine colours. This is the national stadium. This is where the final will be. And now Hart clears for England towards Andy Carroll down this near side. Neither player, Carroll or Grönqvist, get hold of it. Carroll looks at the referee. I think he thought he got a bit of a nudge there. And Grönqvist will clear. Grönqvist's ball doesn't reach Elmander, but Sweden have possession in midfield. The ball is moved to the left-hand side, and the fullback, Martin Olsson. Sweden playing quite slowly, though. At the moment, England getting everyone back behind the ball. Now it's going to be Mellberg. Thought about hitting it long. Slides it down the right-hand side. Grönqvist in field, and Svensson's lost that. That was poor play, and then Svensson fouls Ashley Young, who, by the way, is the only England player on a yellow card in this starting lineup. So if he was to get another one tonight, he would miss the match against Ukraine.
Well, Svensson, loose touch, definite free kick, and we'll be alright. He's still down, actually. He's been down a lot since the foul. He's just getting up now. But England defending well. Sweden are not affecting it. They've got a lot of ball in their own half. They're not going forward.
England have scored 2 goals in this tournament. They're both headers. Lescott, of course, against France, who's going to take this free kick. Carroll here tonight. 1-0 they lead Sweden. Following the free kick, Parker, who tested the goalkeeper early on. Young, return ball to Parker. Parker into Welbeck. All a little bit tight and intricate from England. Sweden coming now on a counter-attack. Elm to Ibrahimovic. Good first touch from the captain. Ibrahimovic is going forward, thinking about a shot here. Ibrahimovic took a deflection and in the end forced kindly for Hart.
Well, he had options to his left, didn't he? He had Ellen, but he didn't want to use them. Great bit of skill to get on his left foot. But England closing him down. That's what you've got to do. just inside the D, comfortable save. I think it's Scott Parker and John Terry.
England injury to Scott Parker. Another occasion, I think, probably where Parker just hurls his body in the way. That's very much part of his game, and I think he's going to be okay. And let's get more thoughts from Graham Taylor. Graham, into the last 15 minutes of the first half.
Yeah, I mean, Sweden, well, I think Sweden have come back at England. You know, they've gone there 1-0 down to a very good goal. I think Sweden have come back into it again. But I repeat back, it's like watching a Premier League club game. There's two sides here playing the same formations. Neither of them seem prepared just to change something, to see if they can get on top of the other. So it's still quite an even game at the moment.
And of course, 10 years ago when England played Sweden in the World Cup, England went in front from a headed goal from Campbell. But Sweden came back to draw that game as well. England must get the 3 points from this match. This, of course, is a game away from Rooney's return. The ball is with Ashley Young now, Manchester United. Near side the field, a slip there by the Swedish defender. Young into Welbeck, good movement from Welbeck. Now Steven Gerrard, this time on the left-hand side. Gerrard's brought into the area, very tight, the return pass from Ashley Cole. I think Gerrard might have been better trying to get that cross in, and Sweden come on the break now. Ibrahimovic, fantastic challenge from Terry on the halfway line, and now Gerrard turns away in midfield. It's a lovely first touch from Carroll. Suddenly the game picks up pace. Ibrahimovic has stayed down inside the centre circle, and Ashley Cole has put the ball out, but he didn't have to, but he did.
Well, again, Sweden looking to break on the counter-attack. It's a great challenge, you say. John Terry reads it well. There's nothing wrong with Ibrahimovic. It's a good, well-timed tackle by John Terry. Plays the ball away.
Well, you're listening to 5 Live from Euro 2012. Coming, of course, towards dramatic climax of the group stage. Some incredible games coming up. Finales to the group. No more so than Poland against the Czech Republic. And Holland against Portugal. All to come on 5 Live. Here England leading 1-0 in Group D against Sweden. And earlier France beating the host Ukraine by 2-0 in Donetsk. Now Steven Gerrard, the captain of England, pointing. Very confident he was yesterday in the press conference. Sweden, he said, are not France. We have to get at them. And his team so far just have this slender lead. But can they get a second before half-time? Lescott bringing the ball forward very gingerly. And now a long one forward towards Andy Carroll. Carroll tried to chest it down. Sweden tidying up. Better ball this time from Svensson. But Ashley Cole goes tearing in on Ibrahimovic. And it's always a bit difficult name to say that. And now it's Glenn Johnson once more. Difficult to say it quickly anyway. Now Parker for England. England playing from right to left. Ashley Cole wants the ball down the left. Cole knocks it on early for Ashley Young in the penalty area. Young shot, into the side netting. A bit selfish that, with Welbeck and Andy Carroll looking interested. And Ashley Young hits the ball into the side netting.
Well, it was a great ball by Ashley Cole, who releases him. They thought it'd catch him offside. It didn't. No, his first touch let him down. Instead of pushing out with his feet onto his left, he's had to check back onto his right. He's rushed his shot into the side net and wasted opportunities, you say. First touch let him down.
Players like Young and Welbeck ought to be able to test this Swedish back four, and they certainly won't have any phobia about playing against people they played quite regularly against in England. Long ball forward now, unless Scott can let that run through. I mean, Joe Hart hasn't had a great deal to do so far in the first half. He's saved a couple of long-range shots, which didn't trouble him at all. And now Roy Hodgson we see with his hands in his pockets down there in the technical area, watching on. England leading 1-0 against Sweden. Still an awful lot to do to close this game out. Hart's clearance now. Andy Carroll jumping. Mellberg doesn't get it, and Young has it now near side. Again, Ashley Cole makes a run, and he steps over the ball, Young, and finds Cole. Cole lifts that in towards Welbeck. Everybody's missed that over on the far side, and Martin Olsson will pick up the loose ball and pick out Elm. Across comes Gerrard immediately, jockeying for possession with Elm. And Sweden's Martin Olsson hits it long, and that's playing into England's hands because Glenn Johnson is there, and then very carelessly loses the ball to Ibrahimovic. Glenn Johnson should have had that for England. Ibrahimovic, Sweden buzzing now. Shot from Karlström is just over. Not a bad effort there from Kim Karlström.
Well, how close was it? Joe Hart didn't seem to move. As if he knew it was going well over. Yeah, pulls his hand down. Good goalkeeping. But again, on the break, Sweden carrying a threat.
But it was all because of a mistake at the back. Just England switch off for half a second, Chris, and Sweden almost punished them. They've got to focus the whole time in this game. As Hart clears and Carroll comes to this touchline now and heads the ball on. Young now with his great pace. Young is there near side the English left. Still Young. Carroll's available. Young twisting and turning against Svensson. Sweden surrounding Young. 3 players around him, and then Young petulantly brought down Larsson, and Sweden will have a free kick near side.
He's tough, that referee, isn't he? Andy Carroll just whacked the ball in him
straight
from
at
3 yards. Never flinched.
He's the referee, by the way, who sent off Rob Green, didn't he? I think against Ukraine in the game, the qualifying game when Ukraine beat England, but mind you, England had already qualified. So ball now into the England half. Across goes Elmander, who hasn't had very much possession, and he's run it out of play for a throw into England. Elmander, the former Bolton man, preferred tonight to Toivonen and also Rosenberg. Sweden were actually pilloried by their manager after the first game. He accused them of being cowardly against Ukraine, so they really should be looking for a response tonight. Great support, but those fans have gone a little quieter in the last few minutes. We've played 38 minutes of the first half. 1-0 to England. Andy Carroll leaping and heading them into a lead following a great ball in from Steven Gerrard. Now Carroll again against Mellberg. The ball is loose, and Sweden now back inside their own half with Svensson. Svensson and Kallstrom are the 2 workers really in midfield. Ball forward towards Ibrahimovic. Across will go Glenn Johnson. Ibrahimovic holds and waits for players to arrive in the penalty area. Still Ibrahimovic towards Kallstrom. Kallstrom, little back flick, clever there from Sweden, but England had the players back. Parker clears downfield. Carroll comes to collect it, and Carroll manages to avoid turning into trouble. Then England lay it long towards Steven Gerrard, but it wasn't accurate enough. Jonas Olsson can see it running away for a throw-in over on the far side.
Ibrahimovic, again a threat, left channel, tries to play 1-2 with Elmander, and you just cut the danger out again. You've got to say, mate, it's not been a great football match this half. Yes, England's got the lead, and that's the good news, but there's nothing really to talk about after that.
No, it's missing the X factor, really. There's no real magic and movement. 2 functional sides, but at the moment, crucially, England have their noses in front through Andy Carroll's goal. Wayne Rooney, of course, will be back and will be talking, I understand, to the media over the weekend. He will be talking with us tomorrow as well, and he's on schedule to return for the match against Ukraine on Tuesday. He's obviously watching on here tonight as Gerrard now finds Johnson. A Liverpool goal it was. Gerrard for Carroll. Now Milner down the right, back again to Johnson, who's had just a couple of anxious moments, Johnson, but he wanted a little bit too much time on the ball, and now he plays it across the field, and the Swedish fans are just giving England a bit of whistle here because of safety first passing inside their own half. And now Swedish player Martin Olsson's gone down on the halfway line, but his team continue, and Elm tries to find Larsson. Larsson header forward. Joe Hart will come diving out at the feet of Elmander. There are just a few moments being created here by Sweden to trouble the England defence.
Well, I just think England are caught in 2 minds. They're playing possession at the back, then they try and force it. The ball what they try and play is never on, and then like that then you think, right, we'll hit Andy Carroll, who's got no support. He's won a free kick there, but there's just no pattern to the game for England. They give the ball away again very cheaply.
England have got to win the game. France have beaten Ukraine. Roy Hodgson specialised in his first 2 matches with 1-0 victories, but there's an awful long way to go in this game to sit on a 1-0 lead. Remember, England did have a 1-0 lead victory in Scandinavia against Norway in preparation for this Sweden game when Andy Carroll was selected and did well enough to earn a place tonight. Certainly that was a foul by Mellberg. Sweden are very wary of Andy Carroll, and Lescott will be entrusted with this free kick. Lescott's free kick knocked forward towards Andy Carroll on the edge of the penalty area. Nobody seems to know where it is, and in the end Milner turned the wrong way. England now for John Terry to Gerrard. Good touch from the captain. Milner wide on the England right into Glenn Johnson, and now Parker. The attackers are waiting for this to come in. It's down the England right. It's turned in by James Milner to the far post, but it was too deep in the end. Got it onto his left foot, but in the end just overhit Andy Carroll, and it's going to be a goal kick for Sweden.
Well, he's overhit it. He had a great reverse ball onto Steven Gerrard just down the side. He didn't see it. Obviously sees Andy Carroll in there and thinks he's got to put it in.
It's not his forte, Chris, is it? You can understand why Milner is great professionals working down that side and helping out, but he's not a Gerrard, is he, when he crosses the ball from the flanks? As Sweden now look to Ibrahimovic, and England haven't closed him down. Ibrahimovic against Lescott. Lescott just nudging Ibrahimovic towards the corner flag. Still Ibrahimovic. He's very powerful and strong and muscular, and he retains possession. Finds Svensson on the edge of the area. Larsson back again to Ibrahimovic. Elmander's waiting. It's gone into Elm. A step over from him, and England now looking to clear. And it's Milner bringing the ball out. Only one man downfield is Welbeck. Welbeck spinning away from Jonas Olsson. Great play, but he's got an awful long way to go, Danny Welbeck. Welbeck now tackled just on the edge of the area by Mellberg. Rolling back the years there, Olof Mellberg. And now England have to be careful once more, because Sweden move towards them as they play from left to right. On 5 Live, England leading Sweden 1-0. Still Roy Hodgson standing down there in his suit, watching on. We've got about a minute and a half of this first half to go. Kallström, centre circle, to Martin Olsson down the left-hand side. But England know they need another goal, really, before they can start to breathe a little more easily, because Sweden, when they do go forward, with players like this man on the ball, Ibrahimovic can be a threat, and he's joining in again now. Ibrahimovic, ball played in towards Elmander, but Hart was there falling on it.
That's a great ball. You know, if Elmander makes a run to the near post, that's a tap in. Wonderful ball.
1 minute of the first half to go. There won't be a great deal of time to be added on. And Ashley Cole, walking pace again. As Graham Taylor's been saying, it's been very much a kind of domestic club game atmosphere, feel about it. Glenn Johnson now, Sweden backing off. Glenn Johnson's got Milner on the outside. Johnson allowed by Sweden to run a long way with the ball, then gives it back to Steven Gerrard. This would be a very good time for England to score a second. England building down the right. Milner onto Ashley Young, who's taking a position on the right hand side. Andy Carroll's waiting in the area. Young's won a corner, and they'll just about have time to take it, I think.
Yeah, it's good build up play. Patient again. And a good chance here for England to get the delivery right.
And the captain will take it. And Lescott, who got the goal, of course, against France, and John Terry both go forward. Mind you, this is a very tall Swedish side, and they have plenty of height back, they think, to deal with this. Steven Gerrard's corner kick for England. Andy Carroll headed the ball backwards, but only as far as Swedish player Larsson on the edge of the penalty area. And we have 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half here in Kiev. England leading 1-0. Now they just need to shut the door tight before half time. Sweden will strike a long ball downfield, Granqvist, and it just sails over Elmander, and Joe Hart, once more untroubled, comes out to collect the ball. Well, of course, if Sweden lose this game, they're out.
Yeah, and I'm sure at half time they'll be saying they need a little bit more. There's a few of them, for me, the heads have dropped at times when the ball goes away. Body language doesn't look good, and I think, you know, they've got to really roll their sleeves up and give it everything they've got second half.
And we can even hear the England fans now singing ahead of the Swedish fans as Andy Carroll jumps once more with Mellberg, and Sweden lift the ball out of their own half. Larsson to Elm over on the far side. Across comes Glenn Johnson, and we're playing now just seconds left in the first half. The ball is with Kallström. Kallström's ball towards Svensson. Good running from Svensson. Ashley Cole is there with Joe Hart to take care of business. And there goes the half-time whistle, with England leading through a soaring header from Andy Carroll, who jumped above Mellberg and got on the end of Steven Gerrard's cross from the right-hand side to give England the lead. But there have been enough signs, I think, from Sweden also in that first half to show that England will have to focus for every single second when they come out in 15 minutes from now. The half-time score here in Kiev: England 1, Sweden 0.
Well, I think we've all said that it's not a great game, but it's certainly a great scoreline, and what a great goal. Wonderful cross from Gerrard and a towering header from Carroll. No changes in the England starting 11 for the beginning of this second half. Just seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No changes for Sweden either. So these are the 11s. The goalkeeper for England is Hart. The back four: Johnson, Terry, Lescott and Cole. Then we've got Milner, Parker, Gerrard and Young, Welbeck and Carroll. Isaacson is the Swedish goalkeeper. Their back four: Granqvist, Mellberg, Jonas Olsson and Martin Olsson. Then we've got Larsson, Svensson, Karlstrom and Elm, Ibrahimovic and Elmander. Did they convince you, Chris, that they could equalise Sweden?
The way this game's going, I think anything can happen, but unfortunately there's not a lot of quality in the final third. I think centre circle, people have looked after the ball pretty well in your own half, passed it pretty well, and let's be honest, you tell me the amount of quality we saw in the final third. Hey, the box.
Yep, absolutely. So England in their second strip, mostly navy with some light blue additions. They'll kick off, attacking the end behind which most of the England fans are. That's to the right. Sweden in their yellow shirts, blue shorts, yellow socks, attacking the end to the left, and the bulk of their fans are at that end. The ball's played back to the red-clad England goalkeeper Joe Hart, and Hart belts it upfield. There was definitely a nudge by Jonas Olsson on Carroll, but the ball breaks to England. Here's Welbeck, can't feed Gerrard. Ball deflects back though to Parker. And now Johnson into Gerrard. Johnson again. And Scott Parker for England. To Welbeck. And not a great ball again from Welbeck. But thankfully it's kept in England's possession until Parker gives it away. See what I mean about being not a good game? It could be Spain in the quarterfinals if England get through. Could be. Martin Olsson of Blackburn Rovers for Sweden. Into Karlstrom. Karlstrom on to Elm. Elm back to Karlstrom over the halfway line, and then I think he was tripped there by Danny Welbeck, and it's a free kick to Sweden, which Karlstrom takes quickly. Back to Olof Mellberg, and Mellberg drives it towards the far side of the field. Good touch on to Ibrahimovic. Back to Svensson, and Sweden have now strung quite a few passes together. Martin Olsson crosses in towards Elmander. Easy header away from John Terry. Svensson though to Ibrahimovic, the captain. Sort of sloppy pass in from the skipper of Sweden, and it's cleared by England.
I think he gets too relaxed, too complacent at times. He tries things which are not happening. I don't think the players can read what he's thinking at times.
Well, he quit for about 7 months, and not long term, but he said, I want a break from international football. And then I think he was attracted back by the relatively new Swedish coach Eric Hamren, who's much more attack minded than his predecessor Lars Lagerbäck. But Sweden will have to attack here. Oh, that ball was allowed to bounce by Ashley Cole. The flick in towards Elmander, cleared by England, but only as far as Karlstrom. And England, look how many players England have got back, lurking in and around their penalty area. Then Carroll picks up the ball, loses it, play to the right side. Grantquist with a cross into the penalty area. Terry's header away, and England have left only Danny Welbeck up front. Carroll might have taken the ball clear, didn't, and then in trying to win it back concedes a free kick, and this is definitely Ibrahimovic territory.
Oh, Andy Carroll's been involved in 2 or 3 at the start of the game. Free kicks, he's quieting down, but referees haven't. I think that's he's saying that's your final chance. They always pick on the big guys, so this is a very good position.
Very central for Ibrahimovic. 6 yards from the D of the England penalty area. Joe Hart, beware.
We've also got Larsson, who's very good at set pieces. Ibrahimovic has took the captaincy.
The captaincy is not in doubt here. It'll be Ibrahimovic who'll take this free kick, though Larsson is lurking nearby as well. Not a great run up for either player, whoever hits it. England have got everybody back inside the penalty area defending the free kick. 3 minutes gone in the second half. England leading 1-0. Sweden with an opportunity to equalise here. We've seen screamers hit by Ibrahimovic in the past, and by Larsson. It's Ibrahimovic, and he shoots low and it hits the wall, thankfully. Ibrahimovic again, and the player's onside. Hart for the save. On goal. On goal by Ashley Cole. Oh dear. Oh dear. Stockholm stroke Kiev bursts into life. That was not a great free kick initially by Ibrahimovic. Then he tried to follow up with a volley. That found a colleague inside the penalty area, Olof Mellberg. Hart save, but I think it hit Cole and into the net for an own goal.
Well, it didn't react. Mellberg's trying to claim it. I think he may get it. I know you're saying it's hit the wall. It's gone up in the air. He comes through the pack. There's no offside.
It's Johnson.
It's Johnson on the left.
Glenn Johnson.
I think
Not actually
Melberg
goal.
will claim it.
Inadvertent.
Melberg will claim
Nothing
it.
much he can do about
it'd
it.
be a home goal. He's unlucky, Glenn Johnson, but he's played everybody on. Didn't attack the ball. Nobody attacked it when it came off the wall.
What a mess. What an absolute mess. 1-1. Graham Taylor's about 3 yards to my left. Hi, Graham.
Hi, Alan. I think, you get that situation. Unfortunately, Glenn Johnson has played everybody inside. There hasn't been the push-up, and then it deflects in off him as well, and it goes in as an own goal. Perhaps Melberg may claim it, but to me it looked an own goal, and really not a lot of understanding there between the English players when they needed to press out and press that ball.
Here is Johnson. Onto Milner down the near side of the field. Back to Johnson inside the Swedish half. Milner once more. Milner faced by, not just one Swedish defender, but two of them. And the ball's finally played out off Milner, throwing to Sweden. Ibrahimovic from the throw-in. And he spots a good run through the middle. The pass was slightly overhit, though. And Larson couldn't get there. Hart does. And Hart throws it out to Ashley Cole. He actually put Cole under pressure. And Sweden had the ball back. No, thankfully the referees spotted a foul on Ashley Young. Free kick England.
Well, obviously that's got Sweden a little bit more energy, got the crowd going, and they've got a spring in the step now.
Lines are open for 606. 0500 99 693 is the number to call. I'll be on air between 10 and 11 UK time. Don't feel sorry for me, but it is midnight to 1 a.m. here in Kiev. Lescott for England. Back to Terry. It was a great scoreline. No, it's not so clever. Reminding you that earlier, France beat Ukraine 2-0. France have 4 points, Ukraine 3 points. And I don't want England to be going into that final game next Tuesday night in Donetsk trailing Ukraine on points. The atmosphere will be incredibly hostile. And 3,000 England fans won't make any noise at all in comparison. Lescott over the halfway line. Lescott over chips the ball. Goodness gracious, that was a poor pass, and it's through to Isaacson.
You just got to get a bit of tempo about it. For me, the only player who's played tonight is Steven Gerrard. I don't see anything. I think we've played slow. I think we've looked uncomfortable on the ball. The decision once we get in their half's been poor. The two Wade men haven't really delivered.
Again, that wasn't a good pass from Scott Parker. He just put Welbeck under pressure, and it's taken up by Karlstrom. Karlstrom loses it though. Gerrard forward to Carroll. Carroll immediately tackled and beaten by Melberg, and is cleared by Gwanquist over the halfway line, bouncing in the centre circle. I think Graham Taylor got it right. After just a few minutes of watching the game, it's like an ordinary club match of no great quality. And you look at what Spain did to Ireland, and you think, what are they going to do to opponents later in the competition? And it could be England. We hope England reach the last 8. Here's Parker. Parker on the attack. Yard outside the Swedish penalty area. To Young. Back down to Gerrard. Gerrard shoots. Brilliant blocking challenge by Karlstrom. And the ball squirts away to the near side of the field. Just kept in play by Glenn Johnson. Let's have some momentum, England. Johnson, having got the ball from Milner, gives it away. And here's Elmander. Tackled. Fairly tackled by John Terry. Gerrard looking for his Liverpool colleague Carroll again. Different type of ball. It wasn't a cross, it was a pass. Anyway, Isaacson had the advantage, got out and knocks it out of play for a throw-in.
It's just a game, and not just it's half the first half. It's just a game of mistakes and slack passing, and that's what's going to cost one of these teams a result. It's just mistake after mistake.
Let it be fair, the England goal was brilliant.
The cross was superb. You're not seeing a better cross.
Anyway, we need to get some more of that in the second half here in Kiev. You're listening to 5 Live on the BBC. We had hoped that England would hold on to the lead convincingly in the second period, but they lost it just 3 minutes into the second half. Here's Gerrard now, edge of the centre circle, and Gerrard's pass, I think it was overhit. It hit Welbeck, and that sort of killed the momentum of the pass. What's the referee has given a throw into England, which is ridiculous. Yes. It's never a throw into England, but it's been given. Throw-in is taken, squandered, and Sweden never throw in.
Well, as I say, when these play each other, that's never a classic, is it? And this is definitely not going to go down as one either.
When we were talking earlier in the day about what these Swedish players, Ibrahimovic apart, were paid. You know, the sort of money they're paid with the sort of money our boys get. And the gulf is enormous, absolutely enormous. But you wouldn't believe it watching what we're seeing here at the Olympic Stadium in Kiev. 10 minutes gone in the second half. England 1, Sweden 1. Olof Mellberg from the Swedish free kick to Jonas Olsson. Martin Olsson to his left. Jonas Olsson driving the ball forward, just overhits it. Could be either team doing that. Terrible. There's much better football being played in Euro 2012 than what we're seeing here tonight. Scott Parker over the halfway line as Ibrahimovic ties his bootlace. Good ball by Parker to the right side. Johnson crosses, underhits the cross. Carroll might still make something of it. Heads it on. I think he got a little nudge there from Quanquist. The referee didn't spot that, and the ball is back with Isaacson, who throws it out towards the far side of the field, towards Larsson. Good header in by Larsson, taking the ball away from Ashley Cole. Ibrahimovic, Elmander's moved offside. Ibrahimovic recognised that, so the pass was back, and now spare through. Here's a chance for Elm. Well done, Glenn Johnson. Can't make up for scoring an own goal, but that's the second vital interception he's made tonight.
Well, I will say, I'm singing the praise of Steven Gerrard, but you've got to say Karlstrom's got a wonderful left foot as well. He spots a pass.
Here's Karlstrom again, left footed cross, and in penalty, goodness, it went a long way. If Larsson had managed to bring it under control, he didn't get anywhere near the ball in the end. Danger, but at least it's a throw into England.
That was a great tackle, wasn't it, by Glenn Johnson?
Oh,
because Ellen was in and he was about 12 yards out.
11 minutes played in the second half. England 1, Sweden 1. Don't think it's certainly not a good enough result that for Sweden. They've still got to play France in the last game, but England won't be happy either with just 2 draws. Not with Ukraine to come in the final game in Ukraine. Throw in now to Sweden on the far side. Grantquist to take it, and he stepped back a few paces. We've got Elmander on the edge of the 6-yard box. Deeper, it's Elm and Ibrahimovic thrown towards Elmander. Gerrard does well, meets the ball with his head, and it's out of play, but it's much further away from the danger area. Grantquist again with a throw-in towards Elmander. Lescott, good interception by Lescott, and Lescott then lashes it upfield towards Danny Welbeck, straight into Sweden's possession. Just, you know, I know you don't want to keep it in the danger area, Chris, but at times you just belt it upfield. It's horrible. Karlstrom to Elm. Karlstrom again. Good football from Sweden. Martin Olsson evades Milner. Milner puts him down though, and he's going to be yellow carded, Milner. Definitely a yellow card.
I've got to say, it's not a classic game, as we've said, but you've got to say Sweden look the better side second half. Karlstrom's getting on the ball a lot. He's got a good left foot, and he's making things happen a little bit from midfield, which they didn't have in the first half, but he's passing it well. You've got to say at the minute, Sweden look the better side second half.
There's more movement from Sweden. England players generally sticking rigidly to their positions. Now Larsson's going to take this free kick. And up from the back, Grantquist, Mellberg, and Jonas Olsson, and of course Ibrahimovic. You know, they're good generally defending, aside from Carroll's headed goal, but boy do they pose an aerial threat when they're on the attack, as they are now. 13 minutes played in the second half here in 5 Live. 1-1 in Kiev. Larsson comes forward, hits it right-footed from the left, deep, it's headed down and into the net. My goodness, Olof Mellberg has headed Sweden in front. It's turning into a shambles.
I just can't believe that. I know they're a big side, but that is literally what. We know Larsson's got a delivery on him. England's trying to hold a high line. Nobody's dropped. The Swedish players have just got 3 headers of queuing up. There's 2 or 3 of them. And what? The second half, they just haven't come out, England. And that was a simple goal, like the first one. And Sweden's sails are up. It's like a home game now, which is yellow everywhere. Poor defending. Simple ball in. Well, it's a good delivery. But look at the queuing up. There's 3 of them queuing up at the far post.
It was pitiful defending. Pitiful. Graham Taylor, is there any case for the defence at that free kick?
Well, there's not. I mean, basically, the Swedish players were, as they happened to do, were in the offside position to start with, and then they come back. You know they're going to come back. It's even more important then that you know who your man is.
Ibrahimovic approaching the penalty area, flicking in the direction of Elm. Elm crosses low, but that should be cleared by Terry, and it's slashed by the former skipper up to the halfway line. Headed back by Jonas Olsson as a Swedish player down in the far side of the field, clutching his face. Play continues. Ashley Young chases after it. In support, Gerrard. Ashley Young skips past the defender, crosses too high for Welbeck, and is knocked behind by Jonas Olsson for a corner. Who's the Swede that's lying? Lying on his back.
Is it the right back?
Don't know, but only now is the referee.
Is it the right back?
Grönqvist. Yes, it could well be. I can't see Grönqvist in the...
Yes, it is.
All right. Okay. Quarter of an hour gone, and it's been punishing. Absolutely punishing. Roy Hodgson, who won so many titles in Sweden, 2 different clubs, biting his nails now on the England bench. 1 up at half time, now 2-1 down, and there's going to be a change for England. Theo Walcott is coming on, and James Milner going off.
Well, James Milner's had a yellow card. That's something they've looked at. Walcott has got pace. If we can get the ball out to him, and can he use it?
Yeah, I don't want to be too hard on Milner or Young, but their presence on the pitch, apart from working hard, is to get crosses in.
And it's a hard position.
I can't remember either of them getting a decent cross.
When you play 4-4-2 like this for England, it's a hard position playing wide.
Grönqvist is off the pitch now. Sweden temporarily down to 10 men. Gerrard's corner from the right, driven in deep. Carroll might have made something of that. Ball breaks to Johnson. Johnson shot deflected, but headed away now. And here comes Sweden on the counter-attack. Elmander over the halfway line. Ibrahimovic to his left. It's fed to Ibrahimovic into the penalty area, and he shoots. Oh, it's saved by Hart.
Oh, that's an England corner, and Ibrahimovic has got 7 yards from the goal before he gets stopped.
Painful. Ashley Young on the far side. Grönqvist is back on the pitch now. Young into Carroll. Carroll back to Welbeck. And now Gerrard. On to Theo Walcott, the substitute. On for Milner. Back to Gerrard. Gerrard swings the cross in towards Carroll. Headed away by Mellberg this time. Brought out of control by Svensson. Sweden have clearly been the better side since the start of the second half. Now Karlstrom. Moving towards the halfway line. Moving towards the left. He knew where Almander was going to run, but he didn't deliver the right ball.
Just got to roll it down the corner flag. Almander would get that. Listen, the one thing is, Sweden we've seen are not the best defensively, Alan, so there is always a chance England can get back into this. What we've seen second half so far, they've got a lot of work to do, and they've just been awarded a free kick.
Yeah, Carroll was caught, and it's actually a yellow card.
Mellberg.
Yep. Mellberg has been booked.
He's not happy about it.
He hasn't even turned to face the referee. Now he does. But it was definitely a foul tackle when the ball had already been played through by Carroll. 17 and a half minutes gone in the second half. England 1 up at half time, trail Sweden 2-1. Now Johnson crosses in, is it yet? Oh, brilliant save! Fantastic save from John Terry by Isaacson.
What a save that was, by the way. That was quality.
That was Jim Montgomery. That was brilliant. Oh,
that was a great delivery, and John Terry looks offside to me, but he doesn't know a lot about the keeper. We've seen a replay. Goes over the bar. They're getting deeper, Sweden.
Sweden are going to make a change very shortly. Meantime, England have got a corner on the far side of the field. Let's have some decent delivery, folks. We know we can do well in the air. Lescott's up there, score against France. Carroll's in there, score against Sweden. Here it comes towards Carroll. Headed away though by the defender. Shot driven in by Walcott. It's 2-2. How that dipped, I have no idea whether or not it took a deflection, but goodness gracious, it flew over the goalkeeper Isaacson, and it's back to 2-2.
Well, it's a shot by Walcott, deflects off Larson. Goalkeeper's in no man's land. It dips, sends the keeper the wrong way.
Roy Hodgson's still biting his nails.
English fans have come over the barriers.
We'll all be biting our nails, I'm telling you. England fans have come out over the barriers, which is unacceptable, guys. Get back. get back. There are stewards holding them back at the moment. It's not with any violent intent or aggressive intent, but the celebrations need to be kept the right side of the barrier. Well, it's been quite a second half, hasn't it? I still think it's scrappy in the extreme.
Listen, it's not a high quality match, but there's more goals again. There'll be more goals.
England 2, Sweden 2. I still say a point's not enough. We need to beat Sweden. Now,
right back's coming off. Definitely. Lustig's coming on. Lustig's coming on.
Yep.
He can't
the
carry
Celtic
on.
Player.
He can't carry on.
That's been a substitution waiting to happen for quite a while. And England, well done England. They put the ball out of play so the substitution can be made. So here comes Lustig and Gronqvist, who played in the centre of defence against Ukraine in the opening game, played right back tonight. He's having to come off.
Lustig had a terrible time against Ukraine. Can they get the ball out to Ashley Young? He's obviously not a player with confidence. He's been left out. We're getting the benefit of this replay. Comes off Larson.
I'm not sure that it took a deflection. I'm really not sure it did. I just think that dipped viciously.
I think it's come off his shin.
And just see the replay, and Theo's smiling. He knows he didn't hit it the way he meant to hit it. Who cares, a BB? 2-2. Big smile on Rooney's face as well. Rooney available to play against Ukraine. Earlier, Ukraine 0, France 2. France have got 4 points, Ukraine have got 3 points, and at the moment England will have 2 and Sweden 1. But there are more goals surely. Carroll doesn't find Walcott with a pass. Cleared to Elmander. Elmander almost caught in possession. Sweden are caught in possession. Gerrard comes forward. Gerrard still running forward. Surely he was balked there. Had to be a free kick, not given by the referee.
I thought that was a free kick, and they've given it away against Sweden.
Here's Walcott.
They've got it back.
Walcott loses it. How much more of this are we going to get? You know, he loses it. They give it away.
It's all mistakes.
We get it back.
Everything's mistakes. You can point fault at every goal.
We're not complaining about the drama. We're just talking about the overall quality, folks. But you can tell me if you differ in your opinion. 0500 909 693, which I'll be presenting in 35 minutes time. The lines are open. Ball played down the left side, but it's gone out of play. Meantime, there was an earlier foul on an England player, Scott Parker, and it's going to be a free kick. We'll take that. Oh goodness, that was an ugly challenge, wasn't it, by Larson? On Parker, he knew exactly what he was doing. Free kick. Tap by Cole to Parker. And on to Ashley Young on the far side of the field. Doesn't get the cross in. Ball beaten away. Here's Ibrahimovic. Sweden on the counter-attack. Ibrahimovic with a player to his right, a player to his left. Doesn't need one at the moment. He's beaten 2 England players. Then a ball breaks to Martin Olsen. Martin Olsen. Stab back. Here's Melberg on his left foot. Weak shot. Played away to Gerrard. And Gerrard finds Carroll. Carroll with Welbeck ahead of him. Played to Danny Welbeck. Right. Welbeck tackle. Great tackle that by Olaf Felberg. Ball's out of play. Midway through the second period. And it's 2-2. And here's Mike Ingham.
Well, how do England get themselves into pickles like this against Sweden? Always happens every time they meet. Unbelievable, really. England leading 1-0 at half-time. The very first time they have to deal with set pieces at the start of the second half, they get punished, but at least they've been able to get back into the game. But I agree with Alan, they need more than a draw. It's 2-2 here on 5 Live, and it's the dangerous man Ibrahimovic once more, finding Kallstrom inside the centre circle. Walcott has scored his 4th England goal today, but it's only the second time he scored in a game, because the other 3 were all in one match against Croatia in that win in Zagreb. And now Sweden with Elm. England still have to be very, very careful. Sweden building down the right-hand side. Sweden, of course, really need the victory, having lost their opening game. Sweden now with Svensson. England just opening up a little as Ibrahimovic takes possession on the edge of the area. Ibrahimovic just teasing the England defenders. England are forcing him wide. Glenn Johnson should get this one away from Ibrahimovic. Comes back in again well, though, the captain for Sweden. And England haven't managed to get it clear. Svensson, that was a deflection from Welbeck, which runs out of play for a Sweden throw-in.
Good possession, Sweden again, stringing passes together, trying to get an opportunity, getting that man Ibrahimovic, so strong.
What about Olaf Melberg? He's in his 35th year. He's won over 100 caps. He's finishing with Sweden at this tournament, and he's had a big hand in getting them into a 2-1 lead. It's now 2-2, and Ibrahimovic once more has the ball near side the Swedish left. Better play now from Sweden. The ball is threaded forward. Johnson just holds off Martin Olsson, and out comes Joe Hart. But England must look to go forward and win the game. Ball is thrown to Gerrard, who finds Ashley Cole over on the left-hand side. England 2, Sweden 2 on 5 Live. Good ball now to find Parker of England. Parker driving forward from midfield onto Andy Carroll. Carroll shoots just over the bar.
Worth an effort. It's got Parker, good run. Midfield boys of Sweden feeling the pace slightly. Karlström in there, and Svensson trying to get back. But Andy Carroll hits it nice and early.
Well, never mind the quality, Graham. Feel the drama. How do you see it at the moment?
Well, you're exactly right what you're saying. It's amazing, isn't it? The more mistakes are made, it leads to goals, the game becomes exciting. And that's what it has been. It's become an exciting game now, simply how it's come. But most, the goals in generally have come out of mistakes.
Joe Hart has, what we thought from here, let the ball away for a corner kick, but the linesman hasn't given it. Or has he?
Yes.
Yes, he has now. And it is a corner kick, and I don't think England had to defend a single corner in the first half. That was the whole of the ball over the line. Let's just have a look at the replay. Yes, it was, and it is a corner, and this is where Sweden are at their most dangerous. They scored their 2 goals from free kicks. They're very dangerous from corners. England have been completely unconvincing dealing with the set pieces. Karlström will come across to take it. All the Swedish fans are behind Joe Hart's goal. England mustn't let another one in now. 2-2 here in Kiev, and Mellberg, who's probably going to claim both of the Swedish goals, is going forward and effectively trying to get a hat-trick here. In comes the corner kick. Left-footed for Sweden. It's an easy catch for Joe Hart. He'll have to hold on to this, though, because everybody, including... he cleared the ball straight at the Swedish, who gets a yellow card, Jonas Olsson. Well, I don't know. What did you think, Chris?
Why did he give him a yellow card? Did he not just kick it?
Block the clearance, didn't he?
Did he deliberately handball it, or did he just hit the ball at him?
So Jonas Olsson gets a yellow card, and England now look to Ashley Cole to move forward. Young hasn't really had a great contribution down that left-hand side. Still time to make an impact. England goals from Carroll and Walcott. Mellberg, or was it a Johnson own goal, first for Sweden, and then very definitely Mellberg's goal for the second. It's 2-2. Remember, 6:06 follows this commentary with Alan Green. Now it's Glenn Johnson down the England right-hand side. France have beaten Ukraine 2-0 today. Terry on the halfway line, finding Jolie and Lescott. England came back with an unlikely equaliser, which even seemed to surprise the goal scorer, Theo Walcott. Now John Terry, long ball in the air towards Andy Carroll. Carroll headed it down, though, behind Ashley Young, and Sweden looked to clear, but they've given it away. Gerrard and Parker. England needs some shape here. Good take from Ashley Young, who's fouled surely. Yes, this time the referee does give the free kick. 25 yards away from the Swedish goal, and not quite dead centre, but here's a chance for England to go back in front again.
Well, it is. It's a bit harsh on Karlström. Ashley Young goes down very easy, but the referee gives it. And as you say, just 10 yards outside the D. Ashley Young really fancies this. It's a good opportunity. It's a good area to get the ball up and down.
17 minutes to go here. England 2, Sweden 2. England have scored from open play. Sweden effectively getting their goals at the end of free kicks. England failing to deal with them. So it's going to be Ashley Young. Gerrard, though, is just behind him. Andy Carroll's gone into the Swedish wall, which the referee is just stepping back another yard to try and take them further back. And it's going to be left to Ashley Young, although Parker's to the right. It will be Ashley Young, and it doesn't come down enough from him. And it goes behind for a goal kick for Sweden. Opportunity missed.
Well, he'd be disappointed, Ashley Young. I'd say it's a good area to get the ball up and down. Always going over the bar.
Whatever happens here, England mustn't lose the game. 2-2, Ukraine still to play in Donetsk. John Terry comes to meet the clearance and heads the ball back into the Swedish half. England leading 1-0 at half-time, but over the years, every time they played competitive games, Sweden always managed to deny England victory. But can they go forward, England, and force this one? 2-2 with still 15 minutes or so to go as goalkeeper clears. Ashley Cole heads the ball back. Lustig, who's come on for the injured Grönqvist. Now it's Ibrahimovic in the deep. Spreads the play to Jonas Olsson. Martin Olsson available down the left-hand side. The Blackburn fullback Martin Olsson taking on Johnson. Walcott's back there as well, and Martin Olsson goes past them both. Martin Olsson drags the ball back to Karlstrom, who hits it wide. Great play from the Blackburn fullback.
Well, it was. Martin Olsson getting down the outside. He should never get in the area he's got in. Went through 2 challenges very easy, and Karlstrom wants it on his left foot, not his right.
Well, England looking to go forward to try and win the game, but having to be very, very careful when Sweden get inside their own half. Still Roy Hodgson watches on as the ball is knocked downfield towards Carroll. Gerrard went steaming in, but Sweden are strong in midfield, and they come forward once more. Svensson, good pass now to Elm. Walcott almost got that off Elm. Elm lays it forward towards Seb Larsson, who made a great run, and the game is really open now as Gerrard finds Andy Carroll. Good first touch from the Liverpool man. Andy Carroll down the left-hand side. I'm not sure Ashley Young will get that. Cross comes the fullback Lustig, and he plays the ball off Ashley Young, and it's going to be Sweden's throw-in.
It's hard, mate, it's really hard to... How many mistakes, sloppy passes, shoot possession, mistake after mistake the whole game.
If it's a draw, then England will have to beat Ukraine in Donetsk on Tuesday to get through to the quarter-final. England now with the ball inside the Swedish half. Sweden battling well, and now Karlstrom with a lovely touch in towards Ibrahimovic, and now as John Terry fails to cut it out, Sweden just overrun it. England can't get hold of the ball though. Glenn Johnson's missed his tackle, and Martin Olsson's breaking once more. There are 4 England players around him. He knocks it down the Swedish left to Elmander. Martin Olsson's still in the penalty area. Now the ball is with Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic tries a shot. Oh, and Hart turns it away for a corner. Goodness me.
What a shot. What an effort that was. Joe Hart, well, he makes 2 hands. He makes sure he pushes it away. Terrific strike. And again, Sweden breaking the play up, look dangerous on the break.
They are such a tall side, and these set pieces are so dangerous. And Larsson's going to take this corner down the left. And Ibrahimovic at the moment's taken up a position over on the far post. Only Martin Olsson is staying back. So it's a corner kick to Sweden. 2-2 here in Kiev. In goes the corner. Joe Hart fists it away. Chases on between Young and Svensson lets it run out for a Swedish throw-in. England at times are being opened up here by Sweden. Both of the coaches are down there as Sweden have the ball just inside the England half, and we have around about 13 or 14 minutes to go. England need to get tight here. John Terry's in the way of that ball from Elm, and now England with Parker. Sweden immediately get bodies in the way. Walcott to Young, touch from Young to Ashley Cole. England can still make a couple of changes if they want to. Gerrard now feeding Johnson for England into Walcott, edge of the penalty area. Theo Walcott into the penalty area, forced wide, in comes the cross. Welbeck's there with a flick. Danny Welbeck turns it in for England. Great play from Theo Walcott down the right. And now can England close the game out and beat Sweden for the first time at a tournament? They were rocking here, now they're back in front 3-2.
Well, you've got to say, this game anything can happen. There's not many mistakes and people just not doing their jobs properly, I suppose, but it's led to a really, really exciting game. 3-2. Walcott just runs in the box with pace. Welbeck turns, swivels on it, really comes with the inside of his foot with his back to the goal, and it goes in the bottom corner. 3-2.
Well, you know, and rightly so, we've all been sort of pointing the finger at the quality of the game, but I tell you what, it's still riveting entertainment. And in a way, Chris, it kind of sums up the Premier League, doesn't it? You know, I mean, some of the quality in the Premier League's not the greatest, but the entertainment's fantastic. So, 3-2 to England, and now here's the challenge. They've got themselves in a winning position. Now, maybe Roy Hodgson might need to make a change here just to shore things up a little bit more. Maybe Henderson or someone to come on. And Sweden are going to put another person on. In fact, it's going to be a double change, I think, for Sweden in a moment. Elmander's fallen over, so perhaps he's going to be one of the players to be replaced. And now the changes will be made. And we're going to have Marcus Rosenberg coming on first. Rosenberg, who played disappointingly in the first game. Graham Taylor, while the changes are being made.
Well, you quite rightly say there, isn't it? When the goals are being scored, even if sometimes you look at the quality of the game, it makes it so exciting, so gripping as well. Walcott comes on, what a substitution, scores his first, makes the second. I mean, sometimes you're looking at the game and there is a lack of quality in it, but it is so riveting, as you say, Mike. It's so exciting. And England now have the chance in the lead again. Are they going to maintain it and hold it?
Well, Elmander's made way for Rosenberg, who played for Werder Bremen, but I understand is leaving the club. The other player who'll come on in a moment is actually quite a tricky customer, Wilhelmsson, wide player. England 3, Sweden 2, as Andy Carroll leaps and heads the ball onto Welbeck. Lovely first touch, and Walcott takes it, and Walcott return ball to Welbeck. England still may need another one here to finish Sweden off. Johnson, Welbeck's wide on the right. Carroll's waiting in the penalty area. Welbeck infield to Parker. Parker turning away from Svensson in midfield. England keeping the ball, that's what they must do, of course. And now John Terry and Lescott available over on the left-hand side. Lescott, no need to do anything silly here. Give the ball back to Joe Hart. And the one thing England mustn't do now in the last 10 minutes or so is concede a free kick 25 yards or so away from their goal.
I don't think he should just come off the pace. Go, keep pressing the ball, keep high up the field. Don't drop back because he's inviting the ball in the box.
Lustig on the chase down the right-hand side. Remember, if Sweden lose this game, they're out of the tournament, even with one game to go. And they've got a throw in by the corner flag. But they'll make the change first of all, and it's Elm who's going to come off. Wilhelmsson who will come on. Sweden throw. The England fans we can hear now, even though they're so outnumbered in this stadium. But it's still going to be a bit of a roller coaster ride, I fancy, over the last 10 minutes here. So important for England to get the 3 points following the French victory today against Ukraine. And if they win the game, they'll still need to get something against Ukraine. Sweden throw down to Svensson. Svensson, and now the cross comes in, and it's Andy Carroll back heading it away. That's an important function he has in the side defensively. England on the break. Walcott on the halfway line. Theo Walcott. Oh, the ball was played behind. Gerrard onto Welbeck. Doesn't control it first time. If he can see Walcott. Ball is then played over the bar by Parker.
What an opportunity. Kill the game.
Wow.
2 sloppy passes. First one on Walcott. Played in front of him. Let Gerrard run onto it. He's clear. And then Gerrard puts it behind, just overhits it into Welbeck's path. So, two good opportunities to kill the game off there.
The Welbeck goal, by the way, was almost a back heel. Now Walcott has gone down in the penalty area. I mean, what an impact he's had in this game. You've been critical of him in the past, Chris, but he's come on and scored and made one. But now we wonder whether he can carry on. He's shaking his head.
Calf by the looks of it. Calf strain.
He's going to be replaced by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's back on his feet. Oxlade-Chamberlain's being prepared to come on by Gary Neville. Walcott is hobbling, and that's a shame because he really picked up the momentum of the game and made a massive contribution. He's running off, so it's obviously not major, but he won't finish the game.
Very well, is he? You wouldn't say he was running off, you'd say he's hobbling off. I think he's pulled his calf by the looks of it.
Well, he has been held back in his career with 1 or 2 injuries, and this is such a personal shame for him, having come on and really made a massive contribution in this second half. England 3, Sweden 2. The moment England are down to 10 men because Walcott hasn't been replaced yet. In fact, he's looking as if he wants to get back on again, but England need to do it quickly because Sweden are now building. Ibrahimovic just backing into Lescott. Ibrahimovic, dangerous ball into Rosenberg. England looking to clear. Gerrard has to be careful here, and then Gerrard just nudges it out of play to the far side of the field, and Walcott does run back on again for England. So they're back to the 11, and Sweden build down the right-hand side, and there'll be an air of desperation from them now because they know if it stays like this, then they can't qualify for the quarter-finals. Ashley Cole now urged to clear this, and he should have just smashed that one clear, really. Instead, he's given away a throw-in, and it's still deep inside the England half. England 3, Sweden 2, and we have just over 6.5 minutes of normal time to go here. Still time for Sweden to threaten. They have the ball inside the centre circle. Jonas Olsson down the right-hand side. England wait and anticipate a cross, and it goes towards Ibrahimovic. It's too heavy and too pacey for him, and it's out of play for an England throw down this near side. And still Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is looking as if he wants to come on here. They're just going to maybe see how Walcott's...
I don't think he's comfortable. Even when he's walking up, he's got a slight limp. And
what's the point of aggravating any injury, really? With games coming thick and fast.
If it's a kick, mate, he'll be all right. If it's a strain, then get him off.
Throw into England. And of course, Walcott's all about legs and pace, so really if he's on the field and he's handicapped, there isn't a great deal of point in him being down there. England also maybe need to get another body into midfield now to close the game out. The ball, though, now breaks for Ashley Cole, and it's well taken by the Chelsea man. Ashley Cole partially tackled, but Gerrard picks up the loose ball and returns it to Ashley Cole. Ashley Cole is fouled. He was fouled by Svensson. If you're joining us, by the way, Andy Carroll majestically headed England into a 1-0 half-time lead. Sweden came out, 2 set pieces. Mellberg involved in both of them. He might claim them both. One might have been an own goal by Johnson. England once more rocked by Sweden, but they equalised through substitute Walcott, and Welbeck, made by Walcott, has backheeled them into a 3-2 lead. Free kick to England now. Andy Carroll jumps, doesn't manage to head it forward. Sweden clear. Wilhelmsson just smashes the ball into the England half, and Lescott with a header out of play for a Swedish throw-in, and they are desperately going to take this as quickly as they possibly can. Remember, England have never beaten Sweden in a tournament, as Ibrahimovic now tries to find Larsson down there. Right, Ashley Young caught in possession. Poor play there, and Ashley Young manages to redeem himself and clears, but it's still in for Svensson, and England mustn't make mistakes like that. They mustn't be ponderous. We're into the last 5 minutes of normal time. Ball played into the England area, and out comes Joe Hart ahead of Wilhelmsson.
Well, it's a hard game to call, mate. Simple as that. There's so many mistakes and sloppy play, and people that's how the game's gone. It's just been about mistakes for me, apart from the first goal, which was a terrific goal.
Oh, Gerrard's been tackled easily in midfield there by Svensson. It's so important for England to get the 3 points here, to take the pressure off. Well, not pressure completely off, because they'll still need a result against Ukraine with Rooney back. These are vital moments for England, and Lescott has conceded a free kick wide on the right. The last thing England should be doing here is giving Sweden free kicks, because this is their best way of scoring goals over the years, time and again. Sweden's free kick wide on the right. Another test for John Terry, the England defence, and Joe Hart. England are closing in on a victory here. Remember, in the World Cup in Germany, they lost it right at the end. They were held to a draw by Sweden when they were twice in a winning position. Tonight, twice in a winning position. They lead 3-2. They've got to keep Sweden out here. This free kick for Sweden is into the England area, and it's Andy Carroll who got his head to it. Parker can't get hold of that in midfield, and Larsson plays it down the right. Another cross comes into the England area. Lescott was beaten by Jonas Olsson, and Ashley Cole is happy to head it away towards the corner flag over on the far side. This is going to be a really anxious finale for the England fans and for manager Roy Hodgson. And still Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is going through, limbering up. A throw to Sweden. Jonas Olsson. Cross is now knocked in off an England defender for a corner. The last thing England need to be doing now is defending free kicks and corners, and this one will be taken by Kallstrom wide on the right. England need here to make sure Mellberg can't threaten again. Jonas Olsson's in there, so too Lustig, and of course Ibrahimovic. Sweden corner, 3-2 to England. In goes the corner. Hart gets a good fist to it and punches it out of the penalty area. Sweden give chase down this near side, and Wilhelmsson has to give the ball back to Martin Olsson, who will then turn it all the way back to goalkeeper Isaacson. Just over 2 minutes of normal time to go. We'll probably have 2 or 3 minutes of added time as well. And then 6:06 on 5 Live with Alan Green. And if England can win this 3-2, then really long one downfield. John Terry against Rosenberg, and it travels through. Maybe we won't nitpick too much about the actual quality of the performance, because all that matters now are the 3 points.
A win's a win.
Yep.
That's how you're going to say. A win's a win.
Long ball now cleared by Joe Hart. England are closing in here. Andy Carroll has not got the throw-in that he wanted, though. Sweden may still get another opportunity, and we may now get to see Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. They've decided, no, there's confusion down there between the fourth official and Gary Neville. The change hasn't been made. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain now is brought to the perimeter of the pitch. Sweden hit a long, careless ball downfield, and that's great from an England point of view. And now Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain coming on for, well, not for Theo Walcott. He's coming on for Danny Welbeck, so Chris Walcott must be okay.
He must be. It must have been a kick, because if it was a strain, he would have put his hand up and said, "I've got to get off." So it must just be. It must have been a kick.
I've got to say personally, I would get Graham Taylor on this. At this point, I would have thrown Jordan Henderson or someone in to try and just stiffen things up in mid. Graham, what do you think about this change?
Well, from a personal point of view, I think it literally just says to the players here, listen, you're winning this game. We don't want to be holding back. We don't want to be coming back off them. Let's just keep it and go out and win. I think he's trying to give a point, that it's not necessary to step back off Sweden.
Yeah, I understand that. And you know what's going to happen now, of course. Oxlade-Chamberlain's going to smash one in from 30 yards. Thank you for that, Graham. And Chris is nodding too. I think he sees the reasoning for it. Oxlade-Chamberlain and Andy Carroll battling well. Andy Carroll almost had an opening there. Sweden, 4 minutes of added time, are desperate to cross the halfway line. We're into the last 4 minutes now as Gerrard wins the free kick. It's been a bit unlucky as well, Gerrard has so far in this tournament. He's been denied free kicks on the edge of the penalty area. He's got this one. Officially, they're giving a Johnson own goal and Mellberg to Sweden. And for England, Carroll, Walcott and Welbeck. Now, can England finish Sweden off here in the grand style?
Well, there's no rush. Take your time. If they want to stand 5 yards away, that's their time they're wasting. So there's no rush.
4 minutes is still a considerable amount of added time. And we've played about 30 seconds of that. And England are taking plenty of time over this. It's the captain, Gerrard, and it's Parker, and it's Steven Gerrard way over the bar. Into the England flags behind the Swedish goal. Now, can Sweden, and they will feel, and their fans will feel, that they can still have an opportunity here. And they've sent Jonas Olsson, the centre half, further downfield, but England have it on the halfway line, and all England now need to do is keep the ball. And Ashley Young immediately loses it. Sweden thread the ball forward looking for Jonas Olsson, and Lescott just hammers that out of play. All England need to do now is protect the possession, and they'll win the game. 2 balls on the pitch at the moment. Now it's thrown down. England have got everybody back inside their own half. Sweden have it down the right hand side with Celtic's Lustig, and he's just smashed that at Young, and Sweden have a throw in, and they throw it down to the unmarked Kallstrom, who will immediately try and lift this forward. Walcott's header out. Walcott, and England have left Parker downfield, and Parker now plays it forward to Gerrard. In fact, Walcott will gallop on this. Oxlade-Chamberlain's available, and he goes. Gerrard! Oh, it's saved by the goalkeeper. Gerrard will get the rebound and play it back. That was England's chance to finish the game. Great save by the goalkeeper. Now down the left-hand side, it's Ashley Young. Ashley Young by the corner flag, and it's going to be a goal kick. What a chance that was on the counter.
Well, I'm surprised. I thought Oxlade-Chamberlain was going to just tap it in. Steven Gerrard comes across him, hits it with his left foot, and it's a good save. It hits the keeper more than anything.
We have about 1 minute and 3/4 of added time here in Kiev, and England, as long as they've got the ball, are okay. And they've got it right now, and there's no need to do anything silly. Walcott, infield to Carroll. Possession football now is required. Ball is played through. Oxlade-Chamberlain doesn't control it. And there was no offside flag.
No, he's just got to take it with him. He's in one-on-one on the keeper, but he has another one, long ball.
Just over 1 minute of added time as the ball is headed on by Jonas Olsson, but Sweden, have they given it their best shot now? They're looking just a little bit weary, but they're getting everybody into the England half to pressurise this throw-in. Remember, in around about 1 minute from now, Sweden could be out of the tournament. If they lose this game following the defeat by Ukraine, England just need to keep the ball. Oxlade-Chamberlain rather dangerously to Parker, and then Parker squirts it out of play for a Swedish throw, and we're into the last minute of added time. 4 minutes of added time here in Kiev. England 3, Sweden 2. Sweden back inside their own half. One last push perhaps downfield. 3-2 to England. Mellberg's ball into the England defence. Lescott tangles with Jonas Olsson. Ashley Cole needs to play this safely, and Young needs to make sure there's no yellow shirt getting it, and he's lost it. Really should have held that ball. Sweden's Larsson into the area, headed over by Jonas Olsson, and that's twice in the last minute or so that Ashley Young has failed to hold it up for his team.
Well, they keep bringing these wingers back too deep, I keep telling you. But listen, it's a win. It's 3-2.
Not yet.
It will be. It'll blow in a minute. It'll blow in a second. It's an ugly win, but you take the points.
Seconds to go. It was a must-win game for England, and the referee blows, and England have won the game. What a rocky ride it was as well. 1-0 up at half-time, 2-1 down quickly in the second half. England re-established themselves in the game, and Walcott made all the difference. Walcott equalised. Walcott set up Welbeck. Sweden are now out of the tournament. England will go forward to Ukraine, and for the first time ever in a tournament, England have beaten Sweden 3-2.